Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I am looking at the Cooler Master MH670 wireless headset. This is my first time branching out into Cooler Master in terms of their headset, so I'm actually excited to try this thing out. This is normally $120. I got it for $100. It's on sale right now, and the thing that struck me about this was just some of the specs, and one of the big ones is that this will actually work with the Xbox or the PlayStation, and you can actually connect this via that auxiliary plug-in here, that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. I'm going to get more into the specs here in a little bit. Let's get this thing unboxed. Then I'm going to spend about a week with it. I want to test it out and then kind of give more of a final opinion on it, talk a little bit more about the specs in more detail. It does feel light, but then I looked into it. This is 0.76 pounds. The Logitech G533 is 0.77, and that's one of the heavier headsets I've used for a wireless headset. By comparison, the HyperX Cloud Stinger was 0.59 pounds, and then the Corsair HS70 was 0.73. What did I drop? Okay, I dropped our charging cable here, our micro USB. Ooh, we got a fancy little carrying case for it that is like a microfiber that actually makes my back kind of curl up. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. I don't know what that, yeah, there's something about that material. All right, so this is going to be user manual, very simple here, nice and clean. This just kind of seems like it's telling you some telephone numbers to call and things like that. But this is going to be it right here. Looks really clean. All right, so we have a detachable microphone. I do like when they actually have that. Makes it a little bit easier because I'm not always using my microphones. And we got our twist ties that are holding this in. Let's get this undone. All right, let's peel this thing out. There it is. Let's get these. Ooh, we have a peel. Oh, those are sticky. There we go. It's literally coating my thumb. There's a lot. You have a lot of peels on this one. There we go. This one is wrapped around. It does look like they fold in, which I like when they do that. It's just easier to mess with. Oh, opposite direction. There we go. Got that one there. So when you can actually rotate them in and then just rest them on the side here. Let's get all of these off. Yeah, this is a lot of peels. This is by far the most I've had with any just headset here. We got another one. Satisfying. The earmuffs feel comfortable. Soft material here. Definitely can tell it's foam. Yeah, it seems like it's just basic foam, but I do like the leather. It feels closer to the HyperX Cloud Stinger, which I like that. That's one of the things I do like about the HyperX is they are very, very comfortable. Okay, I think that's it. All right, let's see. And then on the bottom here, you're going to find a lot of your usual stuff. So we have the 7.1 surround sound. We have our power button, micro USB charging cable, LED indicator. Over here, you have the port for the detachable microphone, the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, mute, and then your volume button right there. So everything is where it should be. Nice, clean. But let's try these on. It does say on the earmuffs here, left and right. If you can see that. I like when they do that. Let's just do a quick test. Definitely comfortable. Light. They don't feel incredibly heavy. They definitely feel heavier than my Philips headset here, which has been, and this is the SHP 9500, I believe. I always forget, but these are the open ears and or open acoustic ones, and these have been by far my favorite headset in terms of just how light and comfortable they are. If you watched the channel, you know that I don't like a lot of pressure on my head. It's just, I don't wear hats for that reason. And so that's something that I usually am looking for with headsets here is, are they light and comfortable? We have the pad on the top. Has a good amount of flex to it, right? Yeah, definitely feels comfortable. It's not incredibly heavy at all. Like I said, I like the fact that you could bend these and these would just hang here if you're not messing with them. All right, let's see what else we got. So in the rest of the box, so this is a 2.4 gigahertz channel audio connection here. This is going to be our dongle, which is a little bit taller than some of the other ones, but a lot of those that are 2.4 are typically bigger like this. It's not thick, it's skinny, I like that. Then braided 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, so it does come with that. So if you are going to connect this to a console, you don't have to worry about that. Then we have our charging cable here, same thing. We have that high quality braiding to it. I like that. And then this is interesting. I didn't know if they were going to include it or not, but for people that have a cell phone and it is the USB Type-C, they have a little dongle here. And with this, you can plug it into that, and then you can actually plug this in like this. If you were going to mess around and do it on your phone, I don't know, if you're gaming on your phone or something like that. If you're just listening to music, it kind of seems easier just to find a Bluetooth headset outside of this. That's not something I'd necessarily mess with, but you're not always getting that 7.1 surround sound with that. Oh, we have one more peel here. Oh, this one's trickier. Oh, all right, maybe. Not super satisfying when it's that sticky. There we go. And so the microphone here, a little bit longer. I do like that. And we can see that right there. Of course, this is bendable. And let's plug this in really quick. It does have a cover, that rubber cover over this, which is nice. You can just move that out of the way. And if I'm doing that correctly, there it is. Voila. And then, yeah, you can move the microphone however you need. So let's go ahead and get this thing plugged in though. So what I'm going to do here is actually, let's do it right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this plugged in. I'll throw something up and then I'll spend the week with it, showcase more B-roll so you guys get a good look at what this actually looks like, all the little nooks and crannies with this. Probably should try to power this on, huh? Usually these come with a little bit of battery. There we go. Setting up the device. But yeah, spend a little bit more time with it, test out the 7.1 surround sound in games like Red Dead Redemption. Already clicked in. Let's see here. What do I have going? And then with this, I'll actually do voiceover work so you guys can hear the microphone. So showcasing the B-roll, showcasing me playing games, talking more about the specs, but using this microphone so you guys can actually hear what this sounds like. Sounds really good. I think right now it's just stereo, so not clicking into the 7.1, and this isn't typically, this is just playing in stereo. I don't think Subnautica Below Zero has 7.1 surround sound. It gets plenty loud, so another test. That's 100% volume. And actually, yeah, that is both 100% on the computer and then on this. And then I could turn that down. So you'll have the dual volume with that, the dual volume control, which I like, which I'm not getting out of, for instance, my Philips here. So it's just whatever's coming out of the computer, but when you can control that both on the headset and then on the computer, it just gives you that little extra bit of control, which I do like. So we're going to cut ahead, talk about the specs, showcase some gameplay, and then I'll actually cover everything in more depth, like I said, and then talk about my experience when playing games. Alright, so this is going to be the microphone here. It's obviously going to sound more like a wireless headset mic, which typically aren't the best, but there are some that are better than others. This definitely sounds better than the Logitech G533 to me. Maybe on par, maybe even a little bit better than the Corsair HS70. But with these, they do sound typically a little tinny. This didn't actually come with a pop filter either, so if you do hear that, my apologies. I do have the microphone about inch and a half, 2 inches away from my mouth, maybe a little bit further, but with that, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not speaking directly on it so that you guys don't hear, one, the popping, but two, me breathing or anything like that. But let's look at the specs here. So this has a 50 millimeter driver. The headphone frequency response is 15 to 25,000 hertz with the 3.5 millimeter mode, 20 to 20,000 hertz with the 2.4 gigahertz mode, meaning wired versus wireless with this. The headphone impedance is 32 ohms. Headphone sensitivity at 1 kilohertz is 110 decibels plus or minus 3 decibels. Headphone input is a maximum of 150 milliwatts. I looked into that a little bit because I wasn't quite sure what that meant, and really what it means is if you were to pump that amount of power or go beyond that amount of power, really driving towards this headset, I'm assuming it would malfunction or it would have a problem with that. Headphone cable length is 1.5 meters for the 3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter cable, and then the micro USB cable is 1.2 meters. Headband material, steel and plastic headband, and then this is the polyurethane leather and foam for the cushion, so it's kind of that, we used to call it pleather, it's really that fake leather. Headphone ear cushion material is polyurethane leather. Microphone pickup pattern is omnidirectional. Microphone frequency response is 50 to 18,000 hertz. Microphone sensitivities, -40 plus or minus 3 decibels at 1 kilohertz. Microphone signal to noise ratio is 50 decibels or more. Microphone type, it's detachable. Volume control, you have your up and down buttons on the headset. Microphone control, there's a mute switch. Virtual 7.1 surround sound, you have your on-off button with this. Power mode, you have the on-off switch for that. The dimensions, 192 by 85.5 by 191.5 millimeters, or if you're using inches, 7.59 by 3.37 by 7.54 inches. Weight is 373 grams or 0.82 pounds. That's with the 3.5 millimeter cable, or 34.65 grams, 0.76 pounds without the cable. It doesn't specify whether that's with the microphone or not though. It does come with a 2-year warranty also, which is really, really awesome to see. All right, so let's go ahead and talk now about what you actually get in the box again, just really, really quick as an overview. All right, so in the package, we obviously have the headset. You get the USB dongle, that's the 2.4 gigahertz receiver, the detachable microphone. You have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and then you have your micro USB charging cable. Disregard the extra one that is on there. I just put that up there, wasn't thinking. And then you also get the USB Type-C to USB adapter. So if you're going to plug this into your phone that uses the USB Type-C input, you can do that. Although this seems like it's really meant for a very niche group of people, I don't know how many people are going to be utilizing this. Yes, you can plug this into your phone, but it ends up being kind of bulky, and I just don't game on my phone a ton, so I'm sure there are people out there that would really, really like this, but as you can see, that ends up pretty big when compared to the phone. It won't work with my phone. My phone is an iPhone here, but yeah, it is pretty big. And then you also get the carrying case, which, like I said, the material, I don't know what it is about it. It just feels like nails across a chalkboard. When I touch it, it just really makes my spine kind of curl. I think a lot of people use it, but definitely not for me. All right, so next let's talk about what you actually find on the headset. So on the right side, in the back, you will find the power button. Next to that, you have the status indicating light. You have the micro USB charging port next to that, and then you have the 7.1 surround sound button next to that. And then on the left side in the back, you will find the volume scroll wheel. You will have the mute button for the microphone. You will have your input for your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and then you will find your microphone input next to that, which is underneath that rubber covering. Next, let's talk about setup, which was really easy. You just plug in the USB dongle, and then your computer just tries to set everything up for you outside of downloading the software. The dongle itself actually has the indicating light right there, so if it's green, you're good to go. If it turns red, then something isn't communicating with this. But personally, I haven't had any issues with this staying connected or anything like that. It's been a very smooth experience in that regard. And then onto the software. So once I had this downloaded, it's pretty basic, but it also works really well. I think in terms of what you can do with the 7.1 surround sound, this has been one of the best experiences I've had with a wireless headset. As you can see here, I'm actually just changing the different channels with that 7.1 surround sound to essentially be closer to me or further away. So you get to tweak this, which is really awesome. Inside of this, you get to turn the 7.1 surround sound on or off. That is up to you, but you can also do it just on the headset. So you get to actually have this also, where you can see here, or you could have this so it's kind of rotating if you wanted to. I don't know if that's just, it's kind of like a carousel. I don't know if that's if you wanted to just mix up those positions. I wouldn't let it run like that and then try to play a game. That would seem very disorienting. But you also have your control for your microphone volume inside of the software here. You have your volume, which you can also control off of your keyboard or in Windows if you want to. And then with this, you have your equalizer, and you get to change bass, treble, and then your highs and lows with this as well. And you can actually see the volume coming up and down right there. So if you wanted to tweak this as well, and then they actually have sound profiles, or you could make your own sound profile and then save that. All right, let's go ahead and get into gaming now. All right, so for gaming, played Cyberpunk, played Halo Master Chief Collection, played Red Dead Redemption, and the sound is really good. Going from stereo back to 7.1 surround sound is really interesting because I forgot how good it does sound in games that truly support it. You can see some glitches here with Cyberpunk that they're still having, but going from the stereo to the 7.1, the world just sounds more vibrant. So 7.1 is a huge win with the headset here. And the fact that you get to tweak it in a manner that is easier, like I said, than any other software I've used, I think that's also another plus with this. Now, just using this on the PC hasn't been a problem, but with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, I did want to test this on the Xbox One X, and I did play Halo 5 with that, which it took me a second to get used to playing with the controller because I'm usually playing on the keyboard and mouse on my PC for the Master Chief Collection. But in terms of setup, it was really easy. You plug the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack into the controller and then into the headset. And I did try the USB dongle, so you can only play this, and I'm assuming this is the same for all consoles, with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. You can't do this wirelessly. So it's kind of like you're going to use this for your PC wirelessly, and then as a bonus, you get to plug this into your console if you are doing that. Now, this just played in stereo. I didn't get it to play in the 7.1 surround sound. I'm assuming that's going to be across the board for all consoles as well, unless there's just a handful of games, and I don't play a lot on consoles anymore, but maybe there's some out there that do support the 7.1 surround sound that this would be able to work with, but for me, with Halo 5, it didn't do that. I do want to point out also, though, that when you plug in the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack into both the controller and the headset, but specifically the controller, make sure it goes all the way in. Otherwise, it's just going to play out of one side of the headphone. It's not going to play out of both. The other thing with this is that the volume gets to a decent level, but it doesn't get incredibly loud. I would have liked if this got a little bit louder. So I think if you're, I don't know, maybe you're in a dorm or you have a lot of brothers and sisters, whatever it may be, there's a lot of noise around you. This may not be enough power for you, and you may end up disappointed if you're getting this specifically for consoles.
I did also try this with the PlayStation 5 controller, which I use on my second rig in the house just through Steam. It won't actually play audio. I just wanted to test it and just see what it looks like. So that's kind of like a sample of what it would look like if you were playing with a PlayStation 5 controller. The other thing is, I tried this on my Xbox One Elite controller on my main rig, and it actually gave me the blue screen of death twice, which essentially, when I looked into it, it was a driver issue. So for whatever reason, when I use this on my Xbox Elite 2 controller, it's going to make my PC crash. Not that I would, because it's PC and I'm just going to use the wireless connection, or I would just plug this directly into my computer. But if I try to do it that way, it will actually make my computer crash. Just wanted everybody to know. All right, so now to wrap this video up, I want to talk about the things that I like about this and the things that I don't like about this now that I've spent a little bit more time with it. So right off the bat, let's get into the things that I like about this. I think the sound is really, really good on PC. The volume can get super loud, but that's because I have kind of the dual controlling with my PC and then with the headset. The 7.1 surround sound sounds amazing. I do like playing games like that versus stereo. The software is very, very easy to use with this, and I was surprised. I do like that. I think a lot of other companies could learn a little bit with just how simplistic it was and easy it was to change everything with this. I do like the 3.5 millimeter jack option for those that are actually going to use this potentially with console. So maybe, yeah, you're buying it specifically for PC, but that option is there, and I do like that. The things that I don't like about this, though, I thought this was going to be lighter, but it is heavier, very comparable to the Logitech G533. I don't like a lot of pressure on my head, and with this being a little bit heavier over time, it does start to put more pressure on my ears and my head, and so I think that's a negative. I think these should start to go lighter. You look at the HyperX Cloud X wireless Stinger, if I pronounce that correctly. But with that one, you're looking at closer to half a pound versus 3/4 of a pound. So that 0.76 versus that like 0.51 or 4 or whatever it weighs, which is a lot lighter. And that is just an easier thing to keep on my head for these longer play sessions. The earmuffs also, because it's that polyurethane, that kind of fake leather, they do get hot over time. So if you are prone to sweating with earmuffs, you're most likely, with a longer play session, going to start to sweat with these. And then lastly, the pop filter. I really wish they would have included one. You can buy one on Amazon. It's not super expensive, but with all the extras that they're giving you with this, I just wish they would have included that in here just to help a little bit. And speaking of the extras, I think they're a nice touch, but at $120, is this worth it? And I got it on sale for closer to $100, but looking at some of the options that you can buy that are in the $60 to $80 range, I think they should kind of cut some of this where, hey, let's get rid of these extras, the USB Type-C to USB adapter, because I don't think a ton of people are going to be using this on their phone. Hey, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the carrying case with this, because I don't think a ton of people are going to use that, and let's kind of bring down the cost a little bit. So I think at $120, it's overpriced. I think if you can get it on sale, it is worth it. This does have a lot going for it, but you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons, and that's really going to be up to you guys. If you don't like heavier headsets, don't get this. If you do want some of the extra options with this, this is something that you can definitely look into. But I want to hear from you guys. Are those things that you need or that you don't need? Hopefully this video helps you make a better informed decision on whether or not this is the right headset for you. But that's going to be it for this one, everybody. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Check back soon for more videos.